Hey guys, Jason here, checking out gold. It's Monday, so that means we try to take a fresh look at things. Starting with our monthly time frame, we can see that yes, we still are indeed in this monthly equilibrium. Now, if you don't know what a monthly equilibrium is or what an equilibrium is at all, really it's a set of tightening ranges. So we established our bottom at 1046.459, and what you do is you set an extreme range to the upside and you start setting lows and highs that all fit inside the previous range. So the action is compressing these prices together, and eventually you get boxed into a very, very tight situation that has a lot of sustained price action and a lot of energy built up, so that eventually when that EQ breaks, it tends to move pretty violently in whatever direction it breaks in. So that's what the EQ looks like on the monthly time frame. On the weekly time frame, you can see it with a bit more clarity. There we are. And here we are pulling back from the most recent high, and I've established this level 1266.421 as an important level for our daily analysis. But right now, we've set this new low, we've set this new high rather. We're pulling back from it, and we're in a little bit of consolidation here on the weekly time frame as we battle some key levels. So let's take a look at the daily time frame and the 4-hour time frame to see what's happening in the short term. But our monthly and our weekly is still going to be to the downside. We got a little bit of bear bias here, so we need to watch that, look for counter trends, and try and play those counter trends to our best advantage. And right now, actually, on the daily and 4-hour time frame, you can see one of those counter trends working out perfectly. So this is a descending wedge that we've been tracking for the last couple of weeks here. And finally, last week, we broke out of that. Now, we got into a very nice pattern on the 4-hour time frame. It was a nice bull flag, did not finish. So we did not see good bullish follow through. That momentum just did not carry. And because we know that we are bearish weekly and on monthly, any of these sort of counter trends you want to be playing for short potential entries. So a break to the upside. Yes, we did get a good follow through on our bullish pattern. We're weekly, so we have a lot of weight here pushing us down from the weekly and monthly time frame. We get a nice bull setup. We break to the upside. We broke our pattern. We saw some follow through, so good moves from the bottom of the pattern. However, we were not able to sustain that with a bullish continuation pattern. Our bull flag failed. We dropped, saw some hesitation and support right at that trend line, fell through it, and now we're consolidating again on the 4-hour time frame. Our RSI is going to be sitting at 35, so we just dipped into oversold territory. Now we're moving sideways. What's going to happen next? And that is what we always like to learn about and figure out. So to do that, let's take a look at the hourly time frame and see what's going to happen. So a lot of this action has happened in the last day, and what we need to look for are some key levels to establish some ranges and see what directions we could possibly look at. So right now I'm looking at for potential tops, so I'm going to grab this. I see that I've got a little bit of zone of resistance here, so that is going to be important for me. Let's zoom in on that a little bit, make it a little bit easier to see. And my extreme range to the downside here, this push to 1273.761. Now earlier I had showed you this important level, 1266.421. That is an important level on the daily time frame. That is where we saw a double bottom on our most recent attempts to break bearish out of this bull pattern. Those failed because we had supported that level, but that is going to be a very important level moving forward. So what we can do to try and eliminate some of our bias here is ignore some of these patterns. So let's go ahead and remove them because these have played out, but we do have this important level at 1266.421. So let's start playing with a fresh perspective, fresh set of eyes on the daily time frame, hourly time frame. Here we go. So sideways channel here, we can see that we have established our resistance at 1278.931, potential double top, and our support at 1273.761. So if bulls are able to get over EMA 26, which they have rejected from conclusively for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts now, we are going to see a pullback down to test 1273.761. This will establish that we're going to possibly be in a sideways channel here, bouncing between these levels until something breaks. If we lose 1273.761, our daily support level, which is going to be very, very important for weekly continuation to the downside in our monthly and weekly EQ, 1266.421 needs to hold to prevent that from happening. If that breaks, then there's not a lot of support on the daily time frame for quite a while, down to well, about 1233. So a lot of range here without support on the daily time frame. You might be able to find support on the 4-hour time frame or hourly, but really the the further away you move from these historical levels, less likely they are going to be strong for you. So we really need to be watching recent price action. We need to watch daily levels like the 1266 and see what our reaction is there. But monthly, weekly, still pointing to the downside. We had a 4-hour bull move that was negated and rejected. We see that momentum shifting back to the downside, and now we're in a nice hourly channel that we need to be watching to see what might possibly come next. So, good start to the week. No real clear patterns right now. We are just oversold and consolidating, and we need to see what the next setup is and what direction the market's going to take us. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.